Prosell is a sales and service performance improvement business. As separate from a training company, we focus on the techniques that genuinely and measurably change the performance, and we are used by our clients around the world when performance matters. Prosell has been going since 1985, and over that time we have developed into a global organization with a head office in London and main offices in Sydney and New York. The other offices that we have are joint ventures with other organizations that take our services to market. And we have representation, which is people who are trained in our products and services and can deliver them to the standard required across the globe. This slide shows the breadth and capability of Prosell in terms of the type of industries and clients that we service. There is a huge variety of organizations here, all with very separate performance and sales problems, and we have worked with them all. Prosell is an international business that started in 1985, as we mentioned earlier. We believe in success through the consistent support of better workplace practices, and that skill development takes place in the workplace, not the classroom. We also know that coaching must support training, and if we don't follow up training with good coaching, we lose much of the investment that was put in place. We focus on results, not events. And this means that training has to be customized to address critical development needs and has to focus on those things that individuals genuinely need to improve their results. We believe in mutual goals and measures. That means we set the same goals for our programs as our clients set for themselves. Sales performance and the KPIs of the individuals tasked to deliver it. We also make sure that we build internal capabilities to sustain profit and growth, and that we know that managers are the leaders of performance change, and therefore these individuals must be empowered to coach, develop, and guide the performance of the individuals in the business. We also know that this is not just a personal opinion. Detterman and Sternberg, in their book Transfer on Trial, did a major study on the transfer of learning from classroom to workplace, and they concluded that 86% of skills training fails to transfer from classroom to workplace. With the Prosell process, that 14% that does transfer becomes much closer to 90 and 95%. We talk to our clients about the Prosell Effect. We know that people develop competence over a period of time, and that training does little more than increase awareness. It helps people to understand what best practice looks like and what performance they are capable of if they get it right. What tends to happen, however, is that an awful lot is covered in the classroom, and that many individuals struggle with applying what they have learned, trying to adapt it in line with previous practice, and quite often we see that training makes performance worse, not better. What Prosell do is make sure that the transfer to workplace is measured, supported through coaching, encouragement and development. And as a result, rather than seeing a post-training dip, we see an immediate impact upon knowledge, upon skills, and upon the results that our clients achieve. This slide is a summary of our value proposition and explains the conditions for success for any performance improvement and training and development program. First of all, it has to be customized. General skills don't work, and we have to give people the skills and approaches that will genuinely help them be better at what they do. There has to be a high level of ownership, and therefore managers, not the trainer, have to be involved in the program, both in its implementation and its follow-up from the outset. We have to apply measures in the workplace that not only measure results, but measure the inputs that give you those outputs, to measure skill improvement and the relationship between change in skill and change in performance. Like anything else, it must be managed. If we don't make skill development part of management review and part of regular meetings and discussions, it ceases to be important to the business. And finally, it must be maintained. And that means we have to plan what skill development we want to take place. We must review it, and we must take it to the point where we're seeing genuine commercial change, and as it says here, a real competitive edge. We are doing things better than our competition. Prosell has a 4-stage implementation process which ensures that what is conceived in the classroom is both correct and is properly implemented to the point where it shows a commercial return. The first stage of this process is diagnosis. Diagnosis involves on-site visits and observations of salespeople and management. This in turn allows us to document the business outcomes that are expected and the measurable goals that our clients wish to achieve. It also allows us to recommend training content that is right for the people and contains skills that will genuinely impact upon the performance of the organization. We then work together with our clients to create a measurable sales execution model, because if we cannot measure sales skills, we certainly cannot improve them. Once that is done, we create skill observation and coaching tools to allow the individuals and their managers to accurately observe skills and then apply best practice coaching to help with performance improvement. The final element of the diagnosis is the sustainability actions. Much training can fall away very quickly, and we need to make sure that the organization has in place a plan to sustain and continue to improve the development of its people. These next slides show how we purpose-build a solution for management, for sales, and then drive workplace implementation. For managers, we make sure that they understand the theory behind the processes we want to put in place and understand the sales performance improvement cycle. The manager as coach is the most critical part of the management role. So we talk about their role and the coaching process that they need to follow. We then make sure that managers are capable of providing follow-up coaching by seeing the coach's process modeled and being observed and coached themselves to the point where they acquire genuine expertise. We also talk about conversational coaching. This is informal coaching and the day-to-day coaching that managers undertake as part of their regular discussions and conversations with their people. And we believe that having a coaching mentality and informally coaching in the workplace is as important as running formal coaching sessions. The next stage is to consider the purpose-built solution we designed for salespeople. They need to understand the sales process to follow, what are the key sales skills they must visibly be able to execute, both in inbound and outbound roles in call centers, conversational selling, which applies to call centers as well as people in customer service and retail environments. Upselling and cross-sell is an important part of any sales role, and we're also involved in developing sales skills for account development and field-based salespeople with a larger portfolio of significant clients. We help with lead generation and business generation tactics. We create for every organization that we work with a sales standards execution model, which is customized and allows salespeople and those around them to understand exactly what level of skill and execution is required. We then focus on workplace implementation. License to Coach is a primary program for Prosell and is overviewed on the next slides. We also have a License to Sell program. Both of these license programs accredit people in the workplace for having reached the standard required, both in terms of skills and quality of execution and the results that they deliver to the business. There are a range of options to manage workplace implementation, and Prosell is flexible, and therefore we are able to run face-to-face sessions, review over the telephone, and also construct plans and review sessions with those who are going through the program. We make sure team leaders and managers have coaching plans which can be accurately implemented, monitored, and followed to the point that coaching is happening regularly. We talk about conversational coaching in the hospitality and retail environment, and again make sure that the coaching is happening and being supported. We also make sure progress reporting takes place. As with any discipline, if it's not reported on and discussed and reviewed, it falls away quickly. So we make sure organizations are capable of reporting on the coaching activity they carry out, the sales development plans that are created from that coaching, the effectiveness of the coaching through measuring results and improvements, and also ultimately the change in results for the whole business as a result of the program. Next two slides look at how License to Coach works. The first slide looks at the overall implementation process, and the second at the experience the managers go through when attaining their license to coach. First of all, there is an audit and setup. This audit and setup involves the diagnosis, as mentioned earlier, which helps us define the success criteria and how we are going to evaluate the effectiveness of the people. There is then a process of engaging the stakeholders, and that is all those in the business that need to impact upon this program to make it work. We also form an internal champion team. This champion team is made up of representatives from all layers in the hierarchy of the business, meets approximately every 6 weeks through the first year, and makes sure that what may be perceived as an external supply initiative becomes business as normal. We then deliver License to Coach. There is preparation through our online academy, there is the A to E workshop, and the calibration process, which ensures all managers can accurately observe in a uniform way the skills of their people, and then there is the follow-up coaching. We then have sustainability as an important part of the program. We make sure we evaluate and give regular reporting on impact and return on investment. We put in place a sustainability plan, and we make sure standards are maintained in terms of coaching and sales effectiveness through annual reaccreditation. This slide looks at the process the managers go through. First of all, they attend the A to E workshop, which covers coaching methodology and the ability to observe skills effectively and uniformly. We then have one-to-one coaching, which involves a pro coach observing the sales manager or team leader coaching a member of staff. We then coach that individual and provide them with a coaching plan. So the coach makes sure that over a period of time the coaches become expert and are helping to genuinely change results and effectiveness of people. We then have preparation for accreditation. We make sure that people have in place all the tools and are managing and delivering coaching to the point where it is sustainable and will deliver business results. And finally, there is License to Coach accreditation. People accredit for License to Coach when they meet 3 criteria: that they can coach skillfully, so they follow the skills and models trained; that they can coach consistently, so everyone gets enough coaching so that it is making a difference to their performance; and finally, that they're coaching effectively, so we see measurable change in behavior and measurable change in results. Just as we are taking sales managers through License to Coach, so we encourage them to take their salespeople through License to Sell, so their salespeople are signed off as having the skills required to make a genuine impact upon business performance. We work to design the sales execution model, we then train the salespeople, and finally we make sure they're being developed in the workplace. So License to Sell sets clear execution standards, it agrees the standards under which people will get their license, it trains them so they have a good understanding of it, and it allows both us and their managers to evaluate their current capability. We then develop the skills through coaching and make sure that there is genuine skill improvement through recording people's performance against the sales execution model. This, over a period of time, gets all the salespeople to the standard needed to maximize business results. They then get their license to sell. But all getting the license means is that the training wheels have come off and people have now got to the standard required. What is most important is that we continue to support them and support their skill development through coaching and feedback to the point where they are naturally performing in a skillful and efficient fashion. The fourth and final element of the Prosell implementation process are the tools that we provide to make sure skills are sustained and developed. We create modular training programs which are multi-use, so the modules can be used in further induction or for specific rectification of skills where people need further input. We also create skill assessment templates. As mentioned before, we create templates that allow managers to assess the skills of salespeople and allow us as Prosell and the learning and development divisions of our clients to assess and continue to improve the skills of the coaches. These all eventuate in personal development plans, so that not only do we see a clear progression in terms of the development of the skills and the improvement of people, but we're able to report on that development. The reporting also includes performance improvement tracking. It is critical that personal development is linked to performance improvement so that the individuals, their managers, and the company at large can see a correlation between coaching, skill improvement, and bottom line performance improvement. As a performance improvement business, as separate from a training company, it is very important that we're able to help our clients measure the return on investment. Most training organizations will typically go through some form of training evaluation. They assess the participants' reaction, mainly through the happy sheets and the tick boxes that are completed at the end of a program. Some of the better programs assess knowledge retention. Through role plays and tests, they assess whether anyone has learned anything from the training. But that is typically where it ends. At Prosell, we complete the 5-stage process. First of all, we track behavioral change using skill observation tools. Secondly, we assess the business impact. Is there a correlation between the change in behavior and the change in results? And finally, this allows us to assess return on investment. In many organizations, we see a very typical pattern unfold. Most of management time is devoted to the 10% of high performers because they are critical to the business, they bring in most of the business, and they need to be kept focused. There is also an inordinate amount of time focused on the 10% of poor performers. They are the problem children, and management spend a lot of time attempting to improve or focus this group. What then happens is that the middle majority, the 80% in the middle, who are not doing what they're capable of but are doing okay, are left alone. It is the ability of the Prosell programs to significantly improve the 80% that brings about the dramatic change that we see in our clients' business results. In summary, Prosell have over 27 years of experience in measurably improving the performance of the sales operations of our clients. We not only do that, but we make sure there is sustainability by giving internal managers, team leaders, and sales operational staff the skills to genuinely affect results and the ability to maintain this once our involvement tails away. Finally, we have proof of capability. In all the projects Prosell have taken on, we have yet to see sales performance improvement less than 8%.